I know some people are probably gonna cringe at this video, and I'm not exactly a huge fan of the newer content either, and by newer, I mean like probably a decade old by now, since I'm talking like newer as in after 2010. Okay, yeah, that's not really new, but you get the point. But SML, aka Super Mario Logan, is shutting down his account, along with SLL, otherwise known as Super Luigi Logan, the other account that he owns. The guys that made Cute Mario Bros, formerly known as Mario 8989, have also moved on from making plush related videos after over a decade since they wanted to move on with other projects, which makes a lot of sense. And many of you guys are aware that I grew up during an older era of YouTube. 2005 to 2010 was, in my opinion, the golden age of YouTube. It was during a time when people didn't have the technology or energy to make professional videos like the ones we see today. Many of the animations that were made were either made with Microsoft freaking Paint or Flash animation, or if you were talented enough, you could use Blender. If you were talented in like 3D modeling and stuff, a lot of people use Blender or other free sources for 3D animation. Or maybe they bought the software, but they weren't like Pixar quality or anything. Almost every single video on the platform was made with Windows Movie Maker or a smartphone. And this was before YouTube was extremely corporation heavy, so there weren't as many ads or channels that were clearly made for a quick buck. This was made before YouTube Kids was even a thing, which honestly, it should have never been one, but that's just me. I'm sure most of you guys agree, but I remember when YouTube wasn't even for children, like, at all. Like, you could get away with a lot more back then than you can now. But that's kind of besides the point. That is a key element, but it's besides the point. The thing that I enjoyed about this era of YouTube was that it was essentially a place where people would just upload random ass shit. The best way I can describe it is, remember when your mom or dad recorded you opening gifts on Christmas Day using the family's camera? Or how sometimes you'd use that camera to make dumb movies, stop motions, or just, like, silly videos? Or remember how sometimes you'd fuck around with Microsoft Paint, or some sort of cheap animation software? Or maybe you wanted to record gameplay using an emulator, or some shit you found out about online, and you would record your computer screen with, like, unregistered Hypercam 2 or whatever. Or maybe you wanted to make like a tutorial, like a really quick tutorial on something simple regarding art or the internet. Or maybe you wanted to vlog by literally just speaking at a camera or engaging with friends. Or maybe you wanted to create something really, really good or fascinating or innovating regarding art. That's sort of what YouTube used to be. It was people using primitive technology to just make dumb, fun videos. I mean, for example, for the longest time, one of the biggest YouTubers ever used to be a guy who just decided to raise his voice to high pitch and do stupid crap. That guy was the biggest guy on YouTube for a while. Sometimes people would use a bunch of time and energy just literally making AMVs with a complete lack of editing and aesthetic like the ones that people make nowadays. Sometimes people would upload fan fiction by literally putting images together in Windows Movie Maker with just text in front of it. A lot of people were introduced to Lost Media by Rebel Taxi and Blame It on George when those two blew up. But I personally was introduced to the concept of Lost Media by a guy named Meltingman234. All of his content was made with Windows Movie Maker, and it was just a much, much simpler time back then. That used to be the mainstream software that people would use to make videos. And, when I didn't have cable during the economic recession, I sometimes had internet. Sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't, because we couldn't afford it at certain moments, but luckily, when I did, this was during a time when YouTube was also filled with episodes or just sometimes even full-on movies, since Viacom hadn't sued YouTube yet. So I got to catch up on like a lot of shows during that time, even without cable, and that's what led me to learn about older shows that were no longer even airing on television. I remember specifically there was a guy named Rugrats Frankie or something who made an account that was just nothing but like classic Nicktoons. And I remember significantly there was one time where my older brothers and my older sister and I were basically doing a Mario DS marathon. I was playing Super Mario 64 DS. My brothers would usually play New Super Mario Bros. Or Mario Kart DS, and my sister would usually play Super Princess Peach, and we used to use YouTube in the background to look up tips or tricks or walkthroughs to get through the games, and, well, my brother was looking up advice on how to beat New Super Mario Bros. I asked him if, like, a Mario cartoon had ever been made, and I remember him just sincerely doubting that one existed and told me that it would be like a waste of time to look up and that he really didn't want to do it. He acted like he really didn't want to because he knew it would be like a waste of time. But lo and behold, I not only discovered the acid trip of Deke Mario cartoons, but I also discovered the Mario anime. And most noticeably, it was the first introduction I had to memes, because there were a ton of YouTube poop videos. It was the first time I had ever heard of something called a YouTube poop, which, when I was little, I used to get confused. I was like, what the hell is this supposed to be? And I'd watch the videos, and it was just a bunch of random-ass clips edited together to make some stupid, but really funny creative garbage. But, sometimes watching cartoons online wasn't an option either. Sometimes people weren't able to, because it's not like a copyright system didn't exist. It's just that, like, it was a lot easier to upload cartoons back then on YouTube than it is now. And when there weren't cartoons, I had no choice but to watch whatever content I could possibly find to entertain myself. And I mean, sure, critics still did exist like they do now. Angry Video Game Nerd was a thing back then, but it wasn't nearly as popular as it is now, and there weren't many YouTubers like that. I did watch them a lot, but it wasn't something super common. I did watch a lot of stop motion videos, but for a while I was craving something new. I was craving something a bit more raw, something with personality, kind of like improv, or like puppetry, but not puppetry necessarily, because puppets scare the crap out of me. And there were already way too many jump scare videos for a sensitive child like me at the time. And well, one of the reasons why I enjoyed those stop motion videos so much was because I liked the action figures. And I mean, what's the next thing to action figures? That would be stuffed animals. And I mean, sure, they're not as impressive, they don't have as much impressive articulation as figures, but plushes are just as simple and can be just as subdued and fluid as any other medium of merchandise. And they're almost all suitable for all ages too, since babies can't really choke on them or anything. And I mean, there's like a whole community of people dedicated to collecting video game plushes specifically. Some people like the rarity of them, and others say it takes them back to memories of that specific game it's representing. And both of those reasons are why I own seasonal attire Sonic the Hedgehog plushes. It takes me back to like the adventure era of Sonic the Hedgehog, and they're just so silly and very sought after that I needed them. I really wanted them, and that's the reason why I bought those toys. But even though I love collecting these, and I understand the appeal, let's not forget the intended purpose these things were made to do. And I mean, yes, I know, I too clench my ass cheeks when I see people shove valuable Mario Party 5 plushes inside of a washing machine or throw them around like useless trash, but plush videos do show the whole point of why these toys were made, and that was to be played with. And yes, people would literally record videos of themselves literally playing with toys. There was usually no script, it was just full-on improv. There were no strings attached to the plushes to make it look like they're moving on their own. It was just, people just used their hands and had it in the video, still recording, and that would be the video. It was just absolute BS, and I mean, keep in mind, this was before monetization. People weren't making money off of these videos. They weren't making them for a quick buck just based on babies playing with their tablets using YouTube Kids. That didn't exist. The reason why they made these videos was because they did it for fun. And, well, I know that sounds stupid. There's just something really, really charming about watching people doing this. It's not anything of great quality, like, this isn't something that's very astounding or innovating, but in a way, it's kind of one of the most imaginative things that you could possibly do. And it's bad. Like, a lot of these videos are really, really cringy. I'm curious as to what newer generations think of old YouTube. They'd probably think it's, like, really, really outdated, because I even see people in the comments acting like all of these videos are trash, not realizing this was an older time of the internet when these videos released. The campiness of these videos is the exact same way I feel about creepypasta. It's bad, but there's a fun to it. It's a fun kind of bad. And these weren't like little kids making these videos. Most kids didn't even use YouTube. I remember when it was a rarity to meet a kid that used YouTube. I was a child during the early days of YouTube, and even I used it because I had millennial siblings and they taught me about millennial stuff. So I used YouTube as a child, and it was mostly like teenagers and adults making these plushie videos. Mostly teenagers. But there was typically some kind of edgy humor, some kind of innuendo, in some of these videos. I remember there was this series of videos where, it was called, like, Plushies on Fire or something. And it was just some teenagers playing with toys and making, like, really inappropriate jokes. There was no, like, script. There wasn't anything planned out or anything. It was just siblings, or I don't know, maybe all of them were friends or something. It was just kids playing with toys and doing stupid shit with it. I think another reason why there's something charming about it is because it takes me back to when I used to play with toys with my siblings or with my friends. And I used to do a lot of imaginative shit. Like, sometimes I didn't have all of the characters in a plush set or an action figure set, so I had to randomly bring in, like, Sonic the Hedgehog and SpongeBob SquarePants teaming up with each other to fight Bowser. So when I see characters like Mario, Luigi, and Jack fucking Skellington going on some big adventure, it's not only amusing to me, because Cute Mario Bros. Was genuinely funny. I still think that show is funny to this day, especially with the more newer stuff that they made before the series ended. And SML did something very similar. They not only had, like, Mario characters, but they also had Tony the Tiger or Woody from Toy Story. I guess I'll talk about Cute Mario Bros. First. I always preferred Cute Mario Bros. Over Super Mario Logan because, for starters, it was like the first big Mario plush series. It was also the first one that I had ever watched, and it had a lot of surreal, dumb, stupid humor, like the kind of jokes that you would hear in, like, SpongeBob SquarePants, or I think the better comparison would be Chowder, where it was very self-aware of just how ridiculous and stupid it was. And what I appreciate the most about it is that that kind of humor still led on all the way to the end of the series. Like, even when these guys were adults making these videos, that stupidity, those jokes, that style of comedy was still there in their newer last videos. And even though, like I said, it was like the cheapest kind of video that you could possibly make, they never used, like, any strings or anything. They always used their hands. It wasn't like actual puppetry or something. There were occasional glimpses of genuine work put into some of these videos. For example, there's a series of videos, or it's more so like a movie, because they used to try and do movie-based videos in parts for Cute Mario Bros., which I thought was really cool, because, like, I used to do that as a kid. I used to pretend with my toys that I was doing some sort of movie, even though I didn't have a camera, just playing with toys. But in that quote-unquote film, it's called Cute Mario Bros. Rock Band, there's a scene where it tries to show the general audience of who the characters are performing to while they're trying to be a band, and it's like some retirement home or something. And you can see that the creators of this show, I think their names are Tyler and Ricky, they literally dressed up as old guys. Like, they actually look old, and their performance is pretty damn good in this scene. It's also really, really funny. There were sometimes occasional, like, stop-motion looking scenes, just for no specified reason, just occasionally if a character was saying something or describing something, they'd have a stop-motion element of it, or some sort of self-aware joke to coincide with it. Sometimes there were songs. I think one of them was actually part of a band or liked to do music or something, one of the creators. And something that I really appreciate about it is that the characters actually had personalities. From the very beginning, too. Mario was like this egotistical asshole, but still had some sort of caring for his brother. His brother is more so like the actual Luigi character. He's very scared, but he's also kind of more so the voice of reason, the very helpful friend. Jack Skellington is the really stupid comic relief. He's kind of the character that holds up the surreal humor when Mario and Luigi aren't doing anything. Mickey is supposed to be like this intelligent character. He's like a psychiatrist. I can't say words today for some reason. I felt like I was choking like the other character named the E guy or the A guy or whatever. And he's just a really awkward character, played by another one of the creators of the show, like as a live action role, as a human role, I guess I should say. And he, for some reason, just makes this really weird noise. Because a long time ago, he was possessed, or he turned into a demon, quote unquote, because he choked on a spoon. So that's the reason why he is who he is. And then there's another guy who's like it's just another one of the creators as a human role, has like a sweatshirt with a skull on it. That's his entire character. He's friends with the egg guy, and he's kind of a nut, I guess. There's also Kermit, who is another really surreal villain who just hates the Mario Bros. Because they insulted him. There's an entire movie about him as well, and it's really funny. He's actually in both movies. He's in all of them, and there's a crazy arc regarding him. And all of these characters together just have such funny, creative, stupid chemistry, and it's just this beautiful mashup that combines absurd humor in all of its dumb glory, and it's practically beautiful. I remember as a kid, I used to draw fan art of this series, like when they announced the third movie. Funny enough, okay, on one of my older YouTube channels that's now deleted, I made a comment on Cute Mario Bros. Asking why they were canceling the show, and if there was ever going to be another movie. I made that comment a long time ago, like back in 2010 or 2011, because I had heard a rumor that they were going to stop making videos back then. And lo and behold, Mario 8989 makes a huge announcement saying, no, we're not ending the show, you guys. Also, we're going to be making another movie. So I may have kind of been the inspiration for the reason why they made a third film. They might deny that, and I don't really care. Maybe I wasn't the only one requesting for another movie to happen, but I just find it kind of funny how those two situations happened at the same time. I'm glad it did happen, though, because I actually really liked the movie. It's the most polished one out of all of their videos. It's you can definitely see the change between when they first started YouTube, doing these videos and making movies, to when they got more professional, when they became YouTube partners. They were actually the first YouTubers, PlushTubers, to be YouTube partners on the platform, and the editing got a lot better in the third film. So it's kind of a good comparison between old YouTube, old classic internet humor, and more modern YouTube. And then just after the third movie, their videos still kept getting funnier and funnier and funnier and funnier, and I'm really satisfied with how it ended. I'm really glad they remained being a pretty good channel and still kept a lot of the same roots from their older videos, adapting it into their more newer stuff. Honestly, Tyler and Ricky kind of seem like the type of guys I would probably, I'd probably be really chill with, because they seem to be really into anime and video games in general and stuff, just like I am. So I kind of see some relatability there, whereas with SML, he doesn't seem like a bad guy or anything. He just seems a bit more his group of friends, they're probably into the same stuff that I'm into as well, since they love Mario and Nintendo as well, but they seem very high energized, like kind of the more extroverted type, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have tons of extroverted friends as well. But speaking of SML, I guess I'll talk about him right now. I know some people are probably gonna cringe. A lot of people my age don't tend to like his content, and the videos have had their fair share of criticisms. I understand why some people don't like them, but the reason why the channel means a lot to me is because I was around during a time when Logan wasn't that big of a YouTuber, when he only had like a few thousand subscribers on his channel back in 2005 to 2010. Well, in 2010 he had like almost 20,000, but that's the era that I remember Super Mario Logan that I loved, absolutely loved as a kid. A lot of people don't know that he's been around for that long. He only really... I significantly remember him blowing up when the whole Jeffy character came into play. And that's when, like, people at my actual school were talking about him. Were talking about the channel, but I was watching his YouTube videos, like, way before that. Like, I remember when he made videos that looked like they were made with Windows Movie Maker, or when he was recording his videos just with an iPhone rather than an actual film camera, which I think he uses a real film camera now, because the videos look a lot more professional than they did back then. But as you guys all know, I'm more of an old school YouTuber. I have a Windows Movie Maker aesthetic on my channel. I always thought SML was kind of the slightly more edgier alternative to Cute Mario Bros. Because there was a little bit more language, there was a little bit more offensive humor. And like I said, the commentary community doesn't really like SML. A lot of people have criticized his videos, and I understand that. I understand why people wouldn't like them, I'll be honest. And while I am very critical of television and films, these products that filmmakers spend like millions of dollars trying to make, and that you legitimately have to pay money for, I'm not really as critical about YouTube videos because you don't really have to pay for that. I don't really expect film and television quality out of YouTube videos either. So whenever I did watch his videos, I came in knowing it probably wouldn't be that great, but again, I just enjoy seeing this kid and his siblings or his friends playing with stuffed animals, because that's something I used to do. And funny story, I actually tried to attempt this when I was in high school at school. Okay, this is a really funny story. Me and my girlfriend at the time, SML is... Channels like SML and Cute Mario Bros. Are also kind of the reason why I got into plushies, but as well as El Supersonic Q and Pat Mac. But I wanted to show my girlfriend at the time my stuffed animals, because she was really into that too. But I wanted to do it like secretly, because I would be really embarrassed if everybody else at school saw that. So I just got like a second backpack and put it on, and just filled it with stuffed animals. And I texted her before school saying, yo, I'm gonna bring the stuffed animals. And I couldn't find her in the morning, so I just talked to my other friends. And then while I'm talking to them, I all of a sudden hear a zipper on my backpack just fully unzip. So then I freak out, and all of the stuffed animals just land on the ground, and everyone's looking at me, and they're like, what the fuck? And then the video we ended up making, the bell rang, and we had to go to math class. And we made like this To Catch a Predator parody with stuffed animals, where Chris Hansen was now Mr. Krabs, and his name was Crab Hansen. And it was a really funny, stupid video. I hate to say it, but making plushie videos are kind of fun. So I can understand why Logan does it as a job. That has to be like the most fun job ever, just playing with stuffed animals and doing stupid shit and getting paid for it on the internet. A lot of money too. I heard that he makes like over $1 million. And, like I said before, when I was a kid, I used to have a very immature sense of humor, so I used to think that, Shrek's Big Crap was, like, the funniest video on YouTube. I would watch it every single day. One thing I really do miss about old YouTube was, like, the aesthetic of YouTube, of the actual accounts themselves. Like, it used to be a lot more colorful, and SML used to have a really colorful, Mario background and Mario aesthetic on his channel. There were a lot more options too, like you could have a better description filled with a whole bunch of stuff on your channel, and I always loved that background. It was cool to see that on YouTube. And one day when I used to have Facebook, I actually friended the Super Mario Logan account. This wasn't Logan's personal account. Logan used to literally have an account, not a page, but an account for Super Mario Logan. And the friend request was accepted. And whenever Logan would post that he uploaded a new video on his YouTube, when he would post about that on Facebook, I would always like compliment them or say what was funny. And Logan on his personal account would like my comments, and I always thought that was cool. He didn't like a lot of other people's comments. He liked my comments whenever I gave one. And not only Logan would do that, but sometimes Chili would like my comments. Logan's girlfriend at the time, she would like my comments as well. And I thought that was really, really cool. She wasn't liking other people's comments either. And then one day I wanted to message them and tell them how much I appreciate their videos and how much I used to love them when I was a child, but the account got deleted and I don't have Facebook anymore, so but that was still really dope. That meant a lot to me back then. I know that there was apparently some drama that happened with Logan and Chili, and that they're not dating anymore. And I was really sad when I heard about that, but I think it's really, really cool how they're still friends again now. Like, they still hang out and stuff. And Logan has a new girlfriend now, and that's just really cool. I know how much it sucks to be in a relationship, a really, really good one, and then get broken up with, or something happens and things just don't work out in a really bad way. And the fact that they're still friends, and I'm still friends with like my exes too, that's just really cool, because sometimes that doesn't happen. It's good to see people forgiving each other. And I personally am someone who believes that it doesn't matter who you were back then, it more so matters who you are now. And the fact that they're willing to accept that and willing to forgive each other and still hang out, still be friends, get over the past, that's really sick. A lot of people can't do that. Logan's probably going through, like, a lot right now. I heard that his cat died, too, and, I remember his cats in his videos, how much he loved him, specifically Precious. That's the cat that died, I think. Precious was the cat that he loved a lot. That cat was in his videos, like, in the really, really early SML videos, so yeah, I remember that. I remember that cat, and he also used to show off his cats on, Super Peach Logan, which ended up being Chili's channel later on. Yeah, that really sucks. He's probably going through a lot of life-changing coming-of-age stuff right now. Lack of better terms. Logan's gonna delete his channel, the original SML channel. And before you get mad or anything, there is kind of a good reason as to why he's doing it. And it's something that I'm surprised is just now happening. Nintendo basically doesn't like that he's using their characters in his videos, and his videos are also monetized. And SML got, like, really huge, too, in recent years. Like, again, I remember when it wasn't that big. I'm still surprised he ever got monetized in the first place, though, to be 100% honest. Like, it wasn't fair use or anything. It wasn't like a parody. It wasn't satire. It wasn't criticism or anything. It wasn't commentary. He basically has been using these characters for years and getting away with it. So I'm really shocked this is just now happening. But, now the characters are replaced with puppets. I haven't seen any of those videos. I haven't really watched SML in a long time. But even despite that, I still hope he's doing well. But Nintendo, YouTube, they don't really want Logan's channel up anymore. I don't know what monetization and demonetizing has to do with the channel and why it still has to be shut down regardless. That's like a whole corporations politics thing. I don't really know what's going on there, but despite that, it's been a really good run. I've loved this channel. It's gonna make me really sad not seeing these videos on YouTube. Like, I know that there's re-uploads and shit, but I'm gonna miss seeing it there, like the original videos from 13 to 14 years ago just still up on YouTube. I heard that YouTube is actually deleting a lot of older videos, which I've been trying to archive all of this shit a lot recently because, like, I think that's really crappy for YouTube to do, for starters, but I have a lot of nostalgia for old classic YouTube, including these videos. They're still funny to me, not because they're, like, amazing top-tier quality comedy writing or anything, but I don't know, maybe the child inside me still has kind of an immature sense of humor because I still crack up laughing at the Shrek's Big Crap video, or whenever Shrek talks about taking a shit in every video he's in, how, like, he's obsessed with it, so maybe it's just me still being a child. I would never want that in, like, an actual TV show or an actual movie, but, I still laugh at it in videos, I guess. I don't know why. For some reason, toilet humor hits different when it's not like a movie or TV show. It feels really forced and just really stupid in cartoon shows and animated films and stuff, or even just movies in general. But whenever I'm, like, with friends or watching, again, dumb old videos like this, I start cracking up laughing at stupid potty jokes or poop jokes or anything, fart jokes. It's a different atmosphere, but anyway, I can't believe I went in depth on that. But yeah, Shrek's a great character. I love Mama Luigi. He was like, before Jeffy, before Chef Pee-Pee and all that stuff, Mama Luigi was like the biggest, most popular character on Logan's channel. And this was when Mama Luigi was a huge meme because of YouTube poops. That's Mama Luigi to you, Mario. That scene. That was a gigantic meme in the early days of YouTube poops. And Mama Luigi had this relatable stupidity, classic 2000s kind of internet humor that I always found funny back then. Back when I used to use the XD symbol. Woody was always a funny character that I thought was, like, on drugs or something, just because he acts so weird, it's hard to explain. Then they have another really stupid character, Tony the Tiger, who I thought was funny, because, again, stupid, dumb internet humor from back then. He's supposed to be dumb. There's a lot of dumb characters in SML now that I think about it. Again, nothing like top-tier quality, but it's just, for its time, for what it is, it's enjoyable to me. This was also the era where Toad was hated by every Nintendo fan, by every Mario fan, so there's tons of SML videos where they just beat up Toad for no reason. SML's videos also take me back to an older time of the internet, not just because it's plush videos either, but I remember when, like, he did a 2 Girls 1 Cup reaction, and even Shrek was grossed out by the video, even though he's obsessed with crap. There was this American Idol series, and Tony the Tiger keeps getting mad at Minnie Mouse because she wears a diaper. And that's something I used to think when I was little, when I had, like, all of these Mickey Mouse toys and plushes. I would always wonder, like, why is Minnie wearing a diaper? Not realizing that it's not a diaper, because I was a little kid back then. Used to love American Idol back then as well, as a kid. I'm sorry if I'm rambling. This isn't supposed to be a scripted video. I don't think I could make a video like this scripted, but Logan, everyone else, I hope you guys are doing well, and I'm really gonna miss this channel. This was something I grew up on, man. I also remember his caramel dancing video, which was just goddamn hilarious. I miss that trend. It kind of had a resurgence in 2020, where, like, there was this meme where people would have flashing lights in their room and have that song playing, but I remember when the original was around, when that was a huge meme, and I used to do the dance as a kid. I've been around this channel for a long time. I haven't been consistently watching them. I haven't watched these videos in a long time, like I said, either, but, the old videos are what I'm gonna really miss the most. The original uploads. Also, I'm really jealous that they live in Florida. I have always wanted to... Okay, I have family that lives there. There's all these cool places like Disney World and Universal. I've always wanted to go to Florida, and I hope someday maybe I'll live there. I don't know, I've been thinking about it, but I'm, like, far away from it. But, that place looks really fun. I love it when they take the plushes outside, too. I don't know why, but as a little kid, I used to love whenever I have the chance to take toys outside or something, because it's a very different vibe. So seeing them out in Florida or out by the pool, their house was really cool back then, by the way. Their house looked really nice. Logan's house, his mom's house, mom and stepdad. But yeah, guys, I'm really gonna miss these two. I'm really gonna miss seeing what their videos used to be, and I just checked, and yeah, SML just deleted his channel, which, oof. But I'm glad they're both doing well. And to be fair, even though I am gonna miss a lot of this stuff, all good things must come to an end, you know? I'm kind of getting really sick of all of these reboots and revivals and remakes and stuff, when really some things just need to be put to rest so that they can have like a proper finale and be remembered very fondly. That way there can be space for newer content, newer original ideas. And I hope that's the case with a lot of this. I hope that Mario 8989, who's now known as Cute Mario Bros, I guess should stop saying their old title. I hope they have better luck going on their own and trying new things. And even though I'm not particularly a fan of SML's newer content, I do hope that Logan and that crew does well, and I hope they're enjoying what they're doing. Even if the Chef PP Bowser Jr. stuff isn't really for me, I hope it is something for a lot of other people, which it seems to be. It seems to have a pretty huge fan base. SML used to be like the biggest plush channel ever on the platform, so it seems to be doing good, and that's great. That's great to hear. Anyway, guys, I'm Stir, and if you guys grew up with old YouTube, I'm not talking about like 2011 through present, I mean more so 2005 to 2010. That, in my opinion, again, was the golden age of YouTube. If you guys grew up in that era, what do you think of it now? What are some of your guys' childhood memories of watching old YouTube videos when you were a kid or when you were a teenager? What channels do you enjoy? Because I typically tend to subscribe to like old YouTube channels from back in that day that have old videos still up on there, because again, there's some sort of charm to it, some sort of nostalgia that I have for it. What did you guys watch? And for the more younger generations watching this video, I want to know what you guys think of videos like that, old YouTube videos. Because whenever I read the comments, I always see kids talking about how shitty it is. Again, not realizing these are old YouTube videos, so it's kind of one of those things where you had to be there to really understand why videos like this were popular back in the day. So let me get your guys' opinions on that. But like always, I don't know how to end videos.